Okay, the other day I was stumbling across a video from Cold Caparoon. If you don't know this guy, he's a mix engineer and producer from Nashville. And I love this dude because he puts out so much valuable information on his channel about recording, mixing, and his approach and why he does the thing he does. And big shout out to you, Cold, if you're ever gonna see this. And the video I was talking about is where he basically said he actually debunked 7 to 10 myths, I guess, about the audio production world, especially on YouTube, because there's so much misinformation out there. There was one particular point where I thought, okay, I should take hold on this as well and talk about it because it's so important, because it grabs the source. And that's acoustic treatment. As you saw my claim on the thumbnail, you don't need acoustic treatment. That's basically nonsense, or that's the information you gotta be careful of. So let me just make a little disclaimer. This is not a rant whatsoever. This is not telling you you got to spend a fortune in acoustic treatment before you even consider starting to mix or to record anything. So just take everything I say with a grain of salt, but there are facts. We are talking physics. We are not talking about opinions. So if you are the guy or the kind of producer or beat maker or whatever you call yourself, and you like to work with headphones and you just go, well, I have a proper pair of headphones, I can mix all day long on them, I don't need speakers whatsoever, I don't need acoustic treatment. And you probably can produce a ton of amazing music on just headphones and release it and it's gonna be fine. Then good for you. But if you ever think about buying a proper pair of speakers, physics enter the game, and that's not funny anymore, because you really have to be careful what you're doing, or you at least got to know what you are trying to achieve. So I love to take the analogy of a coffee machine because I have a wonderful espresso machine just upstairs. I love coffee. And for me, it's just something like taking a break, and I just enjoy making myself a nice espresso or whatever you might actually want to drink, or a cappuccino or a flat white. And I love to do it. That's part of my thing. And I love the analogy because people are way more willing to spend about $2,000 on a coffee machine or espresso machine, but not the grinder, because they think, well, the grinder is just a grinder, it's going to be fine. But I like to turn it around, because you can easily get away with a coffee machine, which is about $500, and buy a way more high-end grinder, like $1,000 or euros or wherever you might be. And you will, I promise you, you will get a better result with a higher end grinder than a higher end machine and a cheap grinder like $100 or $200. And that's basically a good point to make in acoustic treatment, because they're not so far apart. Actually, they're pretty much the same. You could buy 20K speakers, put them in your room, which is poorly treated or barely treated or not even treated, and you're gonna have a crappy sound, that's for sure. Because the room is gonna lie to you. The frequencies are bouncing all over the place. You cannot tell what decisions you are making. You have no idea. You're just turning knobs and hoping for the best. On the other hand, you can easily get away with a decent pair of speakers in the $500 to $1,000 range and proper treatment in your room, because your speakers won't lie to you. You will actually hear what the speaker is doing, and that's what you want when mixing. And recording is just another animal. And let me show you what I did in this room and why I did it. And let me just get the other camera. So, hello YouTube. So this is my space. Let me just show you what I mean. So what I've going on here. This is a room. This is about 40 meters square. And what you're seeing here is my recording side of the room. I have two sides. So if you look down here, where I have my setup, there's a lot of acoustic treatment. By far not perfect, and I'm still not done with it. But we have some DIY panels right here. We have some DIY panels right here. Everything from the bass traps right here is DIY. We have ceiling absorption, which is thick panels of Basotect, the same foam I used in my apartment. That's basically this one here. You know that triangle foam stuff. But this is some proper stuff. This is about 12 centimeters thick, and the other ones are 20 centimeters thick. And what you got to take care of is thickness is very important for bass absorption. So the thicker your absorption will be, the more bass you are able to absorb. And on the other side, you see there's way less absorption going on, because I want to preserve some of the room tone. And that was my big goal when building this studio. I built everything in here myself. To preserve some of the room sound and tone, even though it's not as big of a room as it should be for proper drum recording. But this room sounds amazing, and I didn't think it would sound this amazing before, but as soon as I put up these diffusion panels, everything clicked into place, and I made my first recording with the drums, and I thought, wow, it's just like pulling up the faders and the sound is there. And that's so important. That's actually the point I want to make in this video, is to not ignore physics. I mean, this is my space. This was my decision to go all in on acoustic treatment and proper diffusion, just to make the sound of the drums as great as possible. So there you have it. This is my room. This is why I did what I did. And if you want, I can easily make a proper studio tour and show you everything what I have in here in terms of gear or speakers or instruments. And again, go in depth what my absorption or my acoustic treatment does and why I did it this way and how I built this room. I still am figuring out to produce proper making of video of the building of this room. So stay tuned for that one, and thank you so much for tuning in. And just a last point, don't ignore physics regarding recording or mixing. It's just facts. You just need to do something. You don't need to spend 10K or 5K in acoustic treatment. Just do whatever you can. You can do lots of DIY stuff. There is plenty of good information out there to really build something that works. And as you saw, I think 50% of my absorption is DIY, and it works. And I'm still probably gonna build in the next few weeks 2 or maybe even 4 massive super chunks, which will go in each corner. And that will clean up so much of my lows in this room, which I still have some issues with. So, but that's enough for now. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you the next time. Take care.